Yo, JD here, and as you can see, we are on F1 22, and welcome to my Hotlap and setup series. I really enjoy doing this. This is something I've done on my channel for quite a long time now, and release day is usually one of the most exciting days because no one is at their potential yet. No one really knows what they're doing. And hopefully these videos are going to help you out if you're new to the series or even if you're experienced. This series, I'm going to go into quite a lot of detail on how I feel the car should be set up. Please note that these setups will evolve over time. So if you want more up-to-date setups, because I won't be making 20 different videos per track, make sure you click that join button next to subscribe. That gives you access to my YouTube members Discord, where I will be updating my setups on a daily basis. But yeah, we arrive here at Bahrain, the first track in the calendar, which we will be doing in calendar order, and I will be looking to get at least, if not every day, but maybe every other day, I will try and release a hot lap and setup. So hopefully it does help you guys out. Please like the video if it was useful to you. And yeah, I cannot wait to get started with this. So basically the breakdown of the format of this is that I will be showing you a full lap first, where I won't be pausing it or anything at all. But then I will be showing it again where I will be breaking it down a little bit more. So we will be going to slow motion, zooming in on a few things, and yeah, hopefully we can improve together. But I did a 27.8 here, or I think it was a 27.7. Yeah, it was in the end, which was enough for number one spot, which probably will be beaten quite quickly. But we will save that for a world record attempt later down the line. But I was fairly satisfied with this. So going across the line here in the Red Bull equal car settings, going to turn one, and we'll be braking just after the curb starts, and really want to try and get nice and early into this turn one. A lot of people going deep. I think getting it nice and early is the best approach. Make sure you hit the DRS zone here. Make sure you use all of the track. Cannot stress that enough coming into this right-hander. So keep it nice and tight and use all the track on the exit. Not too much of the curb though. Once you hit this curb, want to go slow in, fast out, and completely flat out for that left. After your Marco sign, you want to do quite a late apex, avoid this curb on the exit. We managed to navigate that quite nicely. Now going into this notorious corner, went a little bit deep here, so that is a place where I could definitely gain quite a bit of time, but trail braking is very important in that corner. This one, just between the 100 and the 50, that's your braking point, and you want to go slow in, fast out again. Thread the car through the needle without hitting the curb on this right. Use all of the track as the wheel is straight. Nice late apex. And a little snap of oversteer, but wasn't too bad. Now coming into the final corner, we'll be braking a little bit after the curb starts. So once your whole car is on that curb, that's when we'll be braking. And again, could gain a little bit more time here. And go on the DRS, and that is a 27.747, which was enough for the fastest right now. But now, let's break it down in a little bit more detail. So, going into turn one, there isn't really a particularly clear reference point, but it's after the 150, and it's basically, once your rear wheels touch the curb, that is your braking point. As we slow it down here now, don't go too deep into the corner. Watch the throttle and braking. So as I release the steering, that's when I go more on the throttle. And then as the wheel's straight, that's when you'll be going almost full throttle. But then as I start turning again, I actually decrease the throttle. And then as I open up the steering, back on full throttle. And they really need to be working in harmony with each other. So coming into this one, pretty much as you're in line with the 100 meter board, that is your braking point. And watch the throttle again. So as we come into this corner, we start to unlock, and then we start to apply more of the throttle. Don't use the entire curb on this exit. You can see as the wheels are almost straight, that's when you want to be going on the full power. As we hit this curb on the left, that is your braking and turning in point. So we've got to slow it down once again. So really important to get nice and early into this curb and then completely flat out. You have to go flat out for it left. As you go past this curb, as your rear wheel is in line with it, that is your braking and turning in point. And again, watch the throttle as we go through into here. So as we open up the steering, the more we open up, the more throttle we use. Coming into this double left, really want you to focus on the braking because trail braking is very important here. So as we're coming into here, quite heavy on the brakes, but the more we turn, the more we come off the brakes. And then the more we open up the steering wheel, the more throttle we do. So they have to be working in harmony with each other. So if you're braking whilst turning, you will lock up. That's why as you're turning in more, you have to release the brakes to stop it from snatching. Coming into this one, basically around 75 meters out is when we'd be braking. Going to here. Try and get as tight as you can to this curb and avoid this curb on the exit. When we're going completely flat out through this right-hander. And as the wheel's straight for around a second or so, that is then your braking and turning in point. A nice late apex. So I really want to kiss this curb as late as possible. Use the track on the exit. Make sure in this game that you're very smooth on the power. Traction is particularly challenging. Coming through into it as the curb starts. So as your rear wheels are touching the curb, that's where you want to be braking. Kiss this curb on the inside. Try and avoid this curb a little bit. We ran out just a little bit too wide there. Get in the DRS zone again. And that was a 27.7, which I don't think is too bad, but I think there was definitely a fair amount of time in that. And you can see at the moment, currently in the number 1 spot. And seems to be a lot of ABS runners are quite high up, which doesn't really come as a surprise to me because I think locking up is quite easy to do. So top of the leaderboard of no assists, and I think this is a fairly good setup to start off with. So the wings have completely changed for this game. It used to be 1 to 11, now it's 1 to 50, and we're running a slightly lower front wing just so we get some good straight line speed. And the rear wing is quite close as well, but just a little bit higher just to provide that little bit more stability because traction is very important. Transmission, very similar to F1 2021 with the on throttle quite high, so maximizing the traction potential, and the lower the off diff, the more rotation you'll have in the car as you're going off the throttle. So we actually ran 95 on the lap itself and 53 off throttle. Suspension geometry is exactly the same as I ran on 2021, so no changes there. But here, this is the big change. The front suspension and front anti-roll bar are actually now higher than the rear. And I will be doing a separate video explaining exactly how the SERPs work. So I will be going into much more detail on that. As for the brakes, 150%, so same as 21 again. And then we move on to tyre pressures and middle tyre pressures. The lower you go on the tyre pressures, the more mechanical grip you will get and better traction. The higher you go, the more high-speed grip you'll have, but the less traction and prone to overheating. So that is my first setup and hot lap that I've done on F1 22. As I said, this will be evolving over time. So make sure you join my YouTube membership because I will be updating those on a regular basis. But hopefully this gets you started, especially with the reference points. So thank you so much. Make sure you subscribe for more F1 22 content in terms of online gameplay, hot laps and setups. These are my settings as well. So this is my camera settings, and we're going to go into my calibration and force feedback settings as well, because I know a lot of this can be quite intimidating for people. And you can see not really too much changes. Just a little bit of dead zone on the throttle and the brakes to make it a little bit less sensitive. And this is my force feedback setting. So 360 wheel rotation. So whatever I do, the game actually matches what I do, which is what I always prefer to drive. But I will be doing separate videos on this as well. End of the day, it really is a preference. But hopefully this will put you a bit more ease and get you started in your F1 22 journey. So again, make sure you subscribe for future tutorials, hot lap setups and content. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you very, very soon. Peace.